All right, I would like to call the January 22nd meeting officially to order. Has the Kansas Open Meeting Act been properly provided?
Yes, I can confirm that the packet was posted and the required notice was provided.
Okay, thank you. Next up is roll call.
Board Member Cates, Board Member Kuhl, Board Member Herman,
Present.
Board Member Nelson,
Present.
and Chair Freeland.
Present.
So with 3 out of 5 members, we have a quorum and we can proceed with business.
Okay. Is there any discussion of the minutes from last meeting? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes.
I second.
Okay, moved and seconded that we approve the minutes as is from the January 8th meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Moving on to new business, application CC 2526.
Yep. You can go. Yeah.
I just want to recuse myself from this. So, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, board members. Item 3.1 is application CC 25-26, filed by John Nelson on behalf of Salina Regional Health Center Incorporated, requesting approval of a certificate of compatibility to allow the demolition of 2 residential homes, the clearing of 1 vacant residential lot, and the demolition of 1 commercial building located within the Salina Business Improvement District Number 1. The subject properties are addressed as 308 South 4th Street, 312 South 4th Street, 316 South 4th Street, and 319 South 5th Street. And this is a continued item from our January 8th, 2026 meeting due to the applicant or representative of the applicant not being present at the January 8th meeting. The application concerns 4 properties located in the 300 blocks of South 4th and South 5th Streets. None of these structures are designated heritage conservation properties, nor are they located within a historic district. They are located within the boundaries of the Business Improvement District, and thus approval of a demolition permit requires review and approval by this board. So I will briefly describe the current status of each parcel. So 308 South 4th Street. This property is the furthest north on 4th Street. This property contains a 2-story wood-framed dwelling built in 1928, and it is zoned R3 multifamily residential. 312 South 4th Street. This property is currently a vacant lot with extensive tree cover. The previous dwelling was demolished in 2014. Staff would note that this property is currently owned by the Marcia F. Stewart Trust. The applicant has indicated that Salina Regional Health Center is finalizing the purchase from the executor of the estate, and completion of this purchase or owner permission is required before the site clearing can begin. And after our presentation, we'll allow Mr. Nelson to speak a little more on that ownership piece. 316 South 4th Street. This parcel contains a single-story wood-frame dwelling unit built in 1934. And like the others, north of it, it is also zoned R3 multiple family residential. And then 319 South 4th Street. This is a commercial property. It's the former Consolidated Printing. It is zoned C4 Central Business District, and it features a single-story brick and veneer building constructed in 1983, and also includes a number of accessory outbuildings. There's a carport on the north, there's a garage to the south, so there are multiple detached structures a part of this commercial building. Salina Regional states that the proposed demolition is necessary to accommodate the construction of a new surgery center on these combined parcels. Sorry, give me 1 second. So Salina Regional has purchased 3 of the 4 subject properties located in the 300 block of South 4th and 5th Street and is in the process of finalizing the purchase of 1 of the residential buildings. The applicant states that the proposed demolition is necessary to accommodate construction of a surgery center on the combined parcels. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing structures and do any necessary site clearing and tree removal necessary for the future construction of the new surgical center. In the interim between demolition and future development, the project designer states that the disturbed areas will be stabilized with seeding and mulching within 2 weeks of demolition. A demolition plan and conceptual site plan of the surgical center have been provided, as well as a project narrative outlining the proposed demolition and redevelopment of the site. Because this property is located within the Business Improvement District, review and approval of a certificate of compatibility application by the Downtown Design Review Board is required before a demolition permit can be issued for the demolition of any of the structures. A public hearing has been scheduled and a request for conformance with the design guidelines for downtown Salina has been made. The Design Review Board is authorized to grant a certificate of compatibility if, upon vote of a majority of its members, the project is found to comply with the policies and guidelines contained in the design guidelines for downtown Salina. So we've had a couple of demolitions recently, so these design guidelines should be familiar to you, but we will cover them again. The design guidelines state the following principles regarding demolition. Generally, the demolition of a building which contributes historically or architecturally to the character and significance of the district is inappropriate and should be avoided. Any proposed demolition includes appropriate grading to a mowable, maintainable condition and seating or landscaping of the building site in a manner compatible with the adjoining buildings and landscape. Demolition should only be considered upon any of the following conditions. If the city building official has ordered demolition for the public safety because of unsafe or dangerous condition, which constitutes an emergency. If a building, object, or structure does not contribute to the historical or architectural character of the district, and detracts from and does not have the potential to contribute to the importance of the district, and is in such condition or is in such design or scale that its removal, combined with the proposed site restoration plan, including any plans for new construction, will result in a more positive, appropriate visual effect on the district. Demolition should not be considered under any of the following conditions. If a building, object, or structure is of such architectural or historical significance that its removal would be detrimental to the public interest and the objectives of the district. If a building, object, or structure is of such architectural or historical character that it could not be reproduced without great difficulty and expense. If its proposed reuse or new construction would make a less positive visual contribution to the district, would disrupt the character of the district, or would be visually incompatible, or if the demolition of a building, object, or structure would negatively impact the character of streetscape or other buildings, objects, or structures in the district. In this case, the building official has not determined or declared any of the structures proposed to be demolished to be unsafe or dangerous. The applicant did state in their project overview that the residential structures located at 308 and 316 South 4th Streets are in poor condition, and that rehabilitation would require investment exceeding the current market value. Regarding the commercial structure located at 319 South 5th Street, the applicant does not speak to the current condition of the building, however, notes that the building was constructed for manufacturing use and the building is not suitable for adaptation to medical or hospital-related uses. Staff would request the applicant provide additional detail about the existing exterior conditions or structural deterioration that make the structures uninhabitable and why rehabilitation, repair, and reuse of the structures is not feasible is not a feasible alternative to demolition. The subject properties are located at the southeastern fringe of the downtown business improvement district. Although many of the architectural features are still intact due to its isolated location, these structures do not contribute significantly to the architectural or historical character of downtown Salina or the surrounding neighborhood. Staff would note, however, that the former Consolidated Printing Building is the only structure, with the exception of a single-family residence located on the west side of the street, located in the 300 block of South Fish Street. Based on the provided site conceptual plan, it appears that the east side of South Fish Street will now consist of a tree-lined parking lot. This would provide a significant visual change from what is there currently. So when you drive down Fish Street now, because the C4 has 0 setbacks along the lot lines, you're fairly close to the Consolidated Printing Building. The proposed site plan, which is subject to change but was provided by the applicant, shows that it would be a tree line covered parking lot. So we just wanted to note that there could be a significant visual change. Another factor for the board to consider is whether the redevelopment plan for the site would have a positive visual impact on the district. The applicant has submitted a demolition plan as well as a conceptual site plan for future development. As part of the demolition, the applicant is proposing to remove the existing structures as well as the trees and fences on the properties. In the interim between demolition and future development, the areas will be stabilized with seeding and mulching within 2 weeks of the demolition, and the applicant states that the current timeline for start of construction of a proposed surgical center would be summer of 2026 or summer of this year. Staff would note that currently Salina Regional Health Center's land holdings on this block have various zoning classifications, including R3, C3, and C4, and that any future development plans for the property would be submitted to the Design Review Board for review, and there would likely be a rezoning application that would precede any review by the Design Review Board. So with that to be said, there's a substantial amount of further review after any sort of demolition were to take place. In consideration of the proposed demolition, it's important to note that the design guidelines recommend that the board should find that the proposal meets all the conditions listed in 2A through C under which a demolition should be considered, and that the proposal does not meet any of the conditions under which a demolition should not be considered. Staff believes that the following findings could be made to support approval of the requested building demolition. Number 1, the condition of the residential structures has deteriorated to the point that it is no longer feasible to rehabilitate and reuse the existing structure. 2, the applicant has demonstrated that the existing commercial building is not suitable for medical or hospital-related uses and that it is not feasible to rehabilitate and reuse the existing structure. 3, the structures individually are obsolete and occupy only a small portion of a site that is being proposed for a larger future redevelopment. And 4, the property is located at the edge of the downtown business improvement district and does not significantly contribute to the architectural or historical character of the district. Staff has identified the following alternatives. The board could 1, approve the certificate of compatibility for the demolition of the structures at 308, 312, and 316 South 4th Street and the commercial building at 319 South 5th Street, based upon findings that the proposed demolition will conform to the design guidelines for downtown Salina. Option 2, you could approve the certificate of compatibility for demolition subject to any conditions identified and approved by a majority of the Design Review Board. 3, you could postpone consideration. Or 4, you could deny the application as presented upon making findings that would support denial. if the applicant provides additional information about the deteriorated condition of residential structures and the inability of Salina Regional Health Center to repair and rehabilitate the structures for reuse to the satisfaction of the board, staff would recommend alternative 2, approval with the condition that if the site the proposed condition that the site shall be graded to a mowable, maintainable condition and shall be seeded or landscaped in a manner compatible with the adjoining buildings and landscape. And with that, staff's available for any questions, and Mr. Nelson is here on behalf of Salina Regional.
Okay, thank you. Does the board have any questions directly for staff?
I have none for staff.
Neither do I. So seeing none, I invite the applicant to step forward and provide additional details.
Sure. Hello, my name is John Nelson, Director of Facilities at Salina Regional Health Center. To the question of the ownership of the lot, we are under contract, and we have a closing date of March 15th for that lot. And I can provide that information, whatever's necessary for that. As far as the houses go, for rebuild, I'd like to kind of go back real quick. The reason that this site has been chosen for development is because of the necessity of surgical services at both Salina Regional Health Center and then the surgical hospital across the street. Currently, even those, OR rooms combined with both at the inside the main hospital and across the street, there's a need for more surgical services for the community. And the goal is to have better patient experience where somebody isn't susceptible to come into the main hospital and then their surgery get bumped because of some emergent use that comes in through the emergency department or something like that. So this would be a place for something to be scheduled and more likely hold to that schedule instead of the family being told, well, sorry, you have to wait. So it's all geared for the positive patient experience for the whole community to better that. So as far as the houses go, I would be happy to provide any more inside photos or anything, but the condition is very poor. There's been a lot of traffic through there since some of those have been unoccupied from people that needed seeking shelter. So there's more significant damage inside than what was even known. And the one home that was habited, that one, even the occupant was complaining about the poor condition of the house and everything. So that's the reason we feel that they're not rehabable for right now. The cost of that would be very expensive to try to do, basically building a whole new house instead of rehabilitating that one. So, and with that, I'd be happy to answer some more specific questions on that.
So I'm unfamiliar. Can you talk about the layout of the old consolidated printing building? I think in your analysis, you mentioned that it's not really suitable for the hospital-related nature.
So it is a precast concrete building, basically, as the sidewalls and everything are all precast, and we can't build on top of it. And if you go to, move anything, basically the outside walls are what's holding everything up, and there's some some columns and girders inside the building, but it's really what we're needing. The new construction, what we're needing is going to be, right now, is planned to be a 3-story, close to 100 or close to 80,000 square feet. So the location of it isn't conducive with where the building would need to set because it being so close to the 5th Street and to the edge of the property line that it just doesn't make sense to build it there. And so that's the reason. The inside of the building is it's all open onto the east side of it from north to south, and then the front part is office space. There's been, since it's been empty, there's been some, water damage and things, but It's really just the layout and the location that's really not conducive to use it as a future plan for medical use. So
I do have a question. I did notice that one of the murals is on the building.
yep.
Is there any plan or any way that could be saved for future?
You
like
know,
some way?
when Solana Boom were doing that, I think our CEO Joel Phelps, and we made it very clear at that time that, this is a temporary structure, because even then we knew the plans for anything on that site wouldn't include that building.
Okay.
And I even talked to the artist that was doing it at the time, and I wanted to, make sure that they knew that this wouldn't be here forever. And they go, we understand this, and we still want to move forward and do it. As far as moving it, again, it's part of the structure, the precast, and I think the minute we try to do anything with it, it's just going to crumble and become in pieces. But I appreciate that question. I thought the same when it was happening at the time. So.
Well, I appreciate that you,
Yeah.
like, the artist knew ahead of time, because that's, to me,
Yeah.
it's so important. Like, I wouldn't want to create art and come back and be like, where did it go? Not knowing that was going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay,
that
thank you.
that was known at the time.
Okay,
So.
that makes me feel better.
Okay.
No, that's a valid question. I'm also disappointed to see that one go away. That's one of my
I
favorites.
would've-
I understand.
kinda-
I'm glad you guys communicated up front, and that was very clear. So
A lot of folks have saying the same thing.
Can I make a
understand.
suggestion? Take lots of pictures and send it to the museum for storage, so that way they have
That's a great
that
idea.
as a digital image. They do take digital images now. So
Okay, that's a great idea.
collections.
Yeah, we have some already. I'll just make sure we have some really good lighting ones and
Okay. Yeah.
that show it like early in the morning when the sun's hitting it or something. So
yeah, really
I know
capture
that'd be
all that
really-
detail for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It's a great mural.
Okay.
I know it's probably, well, you've been talking about it for a while, but maybe it's early in actual what the building is going to look like. But is it going to match the hospital, the brick, and that kind of material? Is it kind of a different concept?
The idea is to make it it's not going to be an exact match like other buildings on the campus have been. The idea is to incorporate some existing brick portions that match the hospital, but then to bring in some samples of the downtown that are already there, with more stucco and metal panels and things like that.
So similar to like the hotel and stuff like that,
Yes.
kind of in that area?
Yeah,
Okay.
and to try to, match some window-looking things that are not just a generic square building is the goal.
So you're-
there.
More Art Deco, perhaps. I mean, just stylistically,
Yeah,
as
it could,
downtown is.
maybe some slender windows from third floor all the way down, and then different areas where there's stairwells and stuff have open window spaces and
So a little
and all that,
different
so-
than like the building to the southeast, the hospital, and to the south.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it would more, it would have some of those elements, but then it would match the rest of the downtown.
So
Hopefully.
it'd almost be like kind of like emerging. So like, you kind of see that transition from
Yeah.
like hospital area to downtown. area.
That's the goal. Now that being said, all this would come back, to the
Right.
city and to the board
Right.
here, and then that would be subject to more
So
approvals.
sometime
but
like late spring or so, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was going to note that. I mean, Mr. Nelson's aware of that, and you as the board members are as well. But just for anybody watching at home, any plans for the proposed surgical center would be subject to review and approval by the design review board. And depending on how a rezoning would work, I mean, the plans could be looked at as early as then. So all that to be said, they will be reviewed and it'll be looked at before
Right.
being approved. But those are good questions about, because one of the criteria for demolition is, is what's going to be in place better aesthetically and visually for the district than what's there currently. So
Yeah,
good
we don't
question.
want pink polka dots up there on the walls or something.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Contrast what's around it. Sure.
Yeah, I think all of this is in flux right now. We're just still trying to figure out the design inside the building with the different departments and how that would look. And it's because there's going to be other clinic spaces in there and not just surgery rooms and such. So, but again, all geared to have a better patient experience for everybody coming in
Right.
and leaving. So,
I think that'll be a real benefit for this community.
yep.
So, especially with, like you said, the surgeries that pop up. I was one of those this summer where it pops up unexpected. And, I would have felt horrible if I'd kicked somebody out of like their knee replacement or something. I've been like, sorry.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good thing.
Yep. So,
Quick question back to there is an occupant in one of the homes currently? Am I understanding that correctly?
that's right. They're due to vacate 31st of the end of this month.
Oh, okay.
This month, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that had been touched on. I wasn't sure about the date
Yep.
on when they would move out.
I don't have any further questions.
No. Is there any public online via Zoom or Slide Downtown?
We do not have anyone from the public online or in the room.
Okay.
Okay. Well, appreciate you
Okay.
giving us extra detail and answering
All
our
right.
questions today.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So with no public in attendance, can I get a motion to approve?
I will move that we approve option number 2 with the staff recommendations.
Do I need to second that since it's just the two of us? Okay. Well, I second officially. So it's been moved and seconded to approve option 2 with additional information, the site being graded. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for the board's benefit, there will be a 14-day protest period before any demolition permit could be approved. And on the note of ownership, we would work with Mr. Nelson to ensure that any work being done on the property, it's the property with the tree cover that's currently not under the ownership of the hospital. We would work with Mr. Nelson to ensure he was either approved by the current owner or conditioned that it wait until they have ownership of that, until the contract's finalized for that property. So we would just note that, but we can go ahead and move on.
Okay. With no additional new business, looks like the annual report, item 3.2 is next.
Yes, thank you. So every year, each of the boards submit an annual report to the City Commission that summarizes and outlines their activity and what they've been doing. And in 2025, the DRB had 13 meetings, and in those 13 meetings, they reviewed 28 cases. And so what that looks like is there were 3 facade modifications. You had 1 building addition, 11 signs. So signs were the most prominent case that you saw in 2025. There were 2 parking lot improvements. There were 6 sidewalk dining renewals. And then there's also 5 other administrative cases that dealt with windows, sign replacements that were of a minor nature. The major accomplishment that was involved in the downtown was the adoption and the execution of the common consumption area downtown, which began on September 1st of 2025. That common consumption area extends from Elm Street to South Street and then 7th Street to 5th Street and includes some of Walnut and Iron Avenue as well between 9th and 3rd Street. The common consumption area operates daily, 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. The board has the potential for up to 7 members. Currently, we are sitting at 5, so we do have 2 vacancies on the board. And so if you know anybody that would like to submit a form of interest, we are looking for 2 members. Staff, Dustin Michelson was recently hired as a planning manager to take over for Dean Andrew, who retired in 2025 last summer. And then in addition to Dustin, we also have Gage Roberts, who is a planner here, planner 2 for the city of Salina. And then we have Daisy, who is our development coordinator and assists with all of our packets and keeping staff well managed, and then myself as well. Goals for 2026, We have two that we have written. The first is to improve public awareness of the role and responsibilities of the DRB and the conservation and reuse of significant and historic properties in the Business Improvement District. And the second is to work to prepare a RFP for a comprehensive plan and overall zoning code update by being involved in conversations on potential changes that impact the downtown business area. So we do plan on commencing a comprehensive plan review, and what that means is all the boards that we work with usually have a hand in that somewhere. So DRB, Planning Commission, Heritage Commission, all the boards kind of get involved in some way and somehow to various degrees. We do have the attendance, which I've got on the screen, and we also have the roster residents' mailing addresses and term limits, and so we would ask you to review them, and if there's any changes to let us know. But with that, we would have any conversations about 2025 and what was completed and the activities that you all were involved with and accomplished. And if there aren't any changes, then we would look for a motion to submit this to the City Commission.
I just want to note, I know we talked briefly last meeting about communication to new business owners. I don't personally own a brick and mortar downtown, but that communication of if you want to do anything at all to this building, you got to make a phone call. They're probably not going to read 20, 30 pages of regulations up front. They have a lot to do when they're taking ownership of that business. But if they want to do anything, banner, because we dealt with a couple, well, they just didn't know, well, at the bare minimum, they need to make that call and just who to call, right? Sure. So that's just one clarification and moving forward.
Sounds good.
Anything else?
I don't have anything.
I don't either.
Okay.
Oh, I moved that we submit this report. Yeah, or whatever I need to say.
I would second that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to submit the report for this year, annual report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? So approved. Thanks for putting that together. And I don't think, you said we did not have anyone on Zoom, including.
Do not have
Santa
anyone
Downtown. Okay.
in the public on Zoom or in the.
Okay. Do we have any unfinished or other business to discuss? If
Don't have any other business.
Okay, so with no public in the room, there's no public forum.
And we are meeting
Okay.
next, the, whatever date that is. The 5th,
February 12th.
the 12th. Okay, yes, the 12th. Okay, thank you.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Moved to second that we adjourn for today. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's a wrap.